Hey, what's up guys, Riff here. So as you can see, I'm back in the humble abode and able to fire up the VTuber model to bring you the latest content. And what is that content? Well, it's another check on the nuisance streamer, Johnny Somali. At this point, I'm essentially a very disappointed probation officer checking in on Johnny every 2 weeks or so, hoping he's staying clean and staying out of trouble, but the reality is, he's constantly getting into more trouble, and this time we're going to cover the last couple of weeks where Johnny has committed a series of actions that could lead to even more charges and potentially years in a Korean prison if he is charged accordingly. So what's been going on? Well, you can see right here. He is facing some very wild potential charges, and to catch you up to speed, Johnny Somali, the typical nuisance streamer, goes to foreign countries, causes trouble for content, but over the past 2 months, he's had an eye-opening experience in South Korea, where he started with his usual antics trying to farm outrage and annoying people in public for content, but eventually he caused international and national outrage when he started going around and disrespecting comfort women statues across the country. Now, this is something that he did. He was groping and fondling them, dancing on them, doing all kinds of very disrespectful things, and this caused an immense level of outrage. And you can see this one in particular, this comfort women statue is out in front of the Japanese embassy in Korea, which is going to be important for later in this video, but this caused a lot of outrage. People started jumping him every time he went out in public, and eventually the heat got so intense, he tried to leave the country but was stopped by Korean authorities. Now, eventually, he would start challenging people to come find him in real life, and we know how that went. He would get jumped, and a Korean streamer with just one punch nearly set Johnny Somali into the afterlife. It was a brutal beatdown, but he continued to cope by posting these pictures, trying to imply that he could leave the country anytime he wanted by flashing this passport. However, unless you're an American with color blindness, you know this isn't an American-issued passport. It is not blue. Rather, it is purple, meaning it was issued by the Korean government. It is a temporary or emergency U.S. passport issued by the South Korean authorities, which tells us that the authorities there have taken his passport and he's likely not going to be leaving anytime soon. And that is because he has been under investigation for a series of actions, and some of those actions include potential drug possession as well as assault. But what actually got him indicted, actually got him charges and a future trial to attend, has to do with obstruction of a business. And basically, because of the way that Johnny Somali records every second of his life, this clip right here is pretty much the trial, okay? Everything to check off the necessary boxes for these statutory requirements for obstruction of a business in Korea is met right here. I mean, he pretty much filmed himself doing the entire crime. And don't brush this off as, oh, obstruction of a business, who cares? This carries multiple years potentially in prison if he is found guilty. And this is where we left things off last time. But Johnny Somali, the true clout goblin that he is trying to continue outrage farming at the risk of probably his own life at this point. So you can see the headline here. Johnny Somali threatened he'll perform more stunts on the comfort women statues in South Korea if TikTok bans him, which, by the way, TikTok is one of the very few platforms he has left, which is a very interesting choice, I guess. Of all the platforms, he's somehow still on TikTok. But anyways, he is threatening to go back to these comfort women statues and defile them further, which, if he does this, he is really putting himself at risk. I'm telling you, the amount of threats he is getting for this is quite insurmountable. He will be facing fury if he does this. And at this point, he has said that he wants to die in Korea. And if he wants to fulfill that wish, I mean, doing this again after everything that's happened would be a pretty direct way of achieving that goal that he has set out. And here's the actual clip where he's talking about it. So just give this a listen.
I swear to God, if they ban this TikTok, I'll go back to the statue tomorrow. Wallahi, if they ban this TikTok, I'll go to the statue tomorrow.
No, they don't. You guys record this. Hello. Record this, please.
So Johnny Somali right there is, like the headline said, threatening to go back to the comfort women statues if his TikTok is banned. And you can hear people in the chat from Korea saying, we have your coordinates. At this point, Johnny Somali sticks out like a sore thumb everywhere he goes. And not trying to be funny or in any way offensive here, it's just the reality. He is a black man in South Korea. He's already pretty noticeable to begin with, and now his face has been plastered all over the internet and in South Korean media. So everywhere he goes, he is being tracked down. He is basically a flagged man who's not going to escape the public's eye. He is tracked and followed every time he steps out of wherever he's staying in Korea. And honestly, things just keep getting worse. So you think he's going to lay low. He's already threatening to repeat his actions that offended so many. Well, now we have this headline. Johnny Somali accused of violating anti-terrorism laws after South Korean bomb scare. So this results from a recent set of actions he did while he was on a train in Korea where he was allowing text-to-speak donations. He got in trouble for this back when he was in Japan as well. But as Legal Mindset points out here, an attorney who also has been covering Johnny Somali and his actions in Korea quite heavily on YouTube. We'll return to him in just a second. But he points out that Johnny Somali, in his view, is violating both the Railway Act and anti-terrorism laws in this video we're going to watch right here. So here is the text-to-speech. It is saying, I have a bomb, over and over again, in Korean as he walks through the railway. And I don't think that's a big surprise that that would be a serious crime. You can't do that. You can't go into a public place and say stuff like that. And because of his text-to-speech, he should know better, and he's causing alarm, obviously. And this is like going into a crowded theater and shouting fire. I mean, these are things that are not protected under any sort of free speech. He is potentially causing issues in public by allowing this to happen. And further on, let's let it play a little bit more.
I know, sorry. I'm sorry. What does it even say? I don't know. What? Guys, there's kids right here, bro. Guys. Just go. Sorry, brother. Oda Nobunaga. No, Oba Nobunaga.
So I don't know if they have the ability to copyright anything, I'm not sure. But what is playing there is the North Korean national anthem. And that is a very common theme with Johnny Somali, as we will discover right now. This is a very odd arc where Johnny Somali is not just trying to troll and disrespect. He is saying many things that have historical issues involved. And he is trying to essentially promote North Korea any chance he gets. He's also trying to pit the countries against each other. Obviously has no actual impact or influence whatsoever, but these things he's doing are potentially crimes. I mean, clips like this are insane.
Until Kim Jong-un nuke this shit, I just don't want to be here when Kim Jong-un press that red button. They nuke this shit so shit turn to Fallout New Vegas. No, please, Kim Jong-un, press that button.
Again, he is telling North Korea, or he's trying to scare South Koreans as well by saying that Kim Jong-un should nuke the country. And here he is again playing the Korean national anthem. And as pointed out here by Dexerto, who, by the way, I shit on pretty regularly for some of their ridiculous clickbait, but they've been doing a very good job of covering things with Johnny Somali. And I think part of that is getting some quotes and talking with Legal Mindset, which is definitely helping them steer into the right direction with this coverage. But as they point out here, he is facing many years potentially in prison for playing that North Korean national anthem, among the other comments he's saying, because North Korean propaganda is taken very seriously in South Korea. That shouldn't surprise you, but that is the way that it is in that country. And what is being potentially violated here is South Korea's National Security Act, especially in light of his repeated use of the DPRK propaganda in public places, both online and in person. And Legal Mindset talks about this, and he says, it wasn't just a one-time joke. If he just played the national anthem of North Korea just once, I don't think anyone cares in South Korea. It wouldn't be taken that seriously, wouldn't be charged. But he has played it over and over again, whether it's in his streams while he's in his house, wherever he's staying, or he's out in public. He's been doing it over and over again. He's been saying very disparaging things about South Koreans and encouraging aggression from North Korea and all of these crazy things that could get him in a lot of trouble. I mean, this is now national security related law. That's a big deal. It doesn't matter what country you're in. If you're messing around with national security law, you are going to be facing a tough time. So here's another post from his Instagram. Again, I don't really know if I can play this. I don't know if North Korea is going to try to copyright strike this video. I'm not sure. I don't think that would actually happen, but you get the point here. So he released this post onto his Instagram, and here he is looking like a fool. And then you can see the headline here. He is playing in the background the national anthem of North Korea. Once again, playing that, which could cause some serious trouble for him in South Korea. On top of that, he has been playing some other things, trying to incite a lot of outrage from South Koreans, including playing the Batotai, the Imperial Japanese Army March, while doing a Roman salutes and saying that Koreans need to go fight Japan, and all of these ridiculous comments. And as you can see, the reaction to this is crazy. People saying, oh, they're gonna effing game end him. It's not a possibility anymore. It's a guaranteed game end. And you can see this has 264,000 likes. I have said it before. People hate Johnny Somali. I don't think I've ever seen someone so universally hated, and people who have been praying so hard on someone's downfall more than Johnny Somali. Like, people are out for his blood. He has offended so many people over the years that nobody, and I mean nobody, is taking his side. Now, going back to legal mindset, I talked about this in my last video. Johnny Somali has been threatening to sue legal mindset, which is insane. Again, he's an actual attorney, so at this point, you're dabbling into some pretty serious stuff when you're threatening an actual attorney with the possibility of a lawsuit. But again, this is another empty threat. Johnny Somali has threatened to sue Dexerto, PewDiePie, and now Legal Mindset, among others. It is a blank threat. He has absolutely no means to even do this, and the proof of that is the fact that in his upcoming trial, he's going to be likely represented by a public defender because he can't afford to hire his own defense attorney. He is instead being awarded one from the government, and at this point, like, the grift doesn't really work, okay? I don't think Johnny Somali has two dimes to rub together at this point. What he's doing at this point is unmonetizable. He is trying to find any platform he can possibly stream on, and the only donations and financial support he gets at this point is a few angry donations from Koreans giving him $1 just to say they're gonna go find him and beat him up. You know what I mean? Like, that's not sustainable. I think he is struggling right now, and he is pretty locked up when it comes to finances. So the fact that he's threatening to sue anyone is just laughable. But on top of that, it looks like Johnny Somali or someone associated with him is filing privacy complaints on Legal Mindset's videos covering his actions in South Korea. Legal Mindset's done a lot of videos on him during his time in South Korea, especially in the last couple of weeks, analyzing some of the potential legal consequences he could face. But he is now trying to make these privacy violation reports to get potentially Legal Mindset's videos taken down that are covering Johnny Somali. You can see multiple videos, and here's the violating privacy marks right here. It has all of these different water or timestamps in the videos. A lot of them, pretty much the whole thing at this point. It is a desperate attempt, and you can see Legal Mindset trying to raise this and bring it to YouTube's attention so Johnny Somali can't start going down this route. I've had this happen to me as well, where some of the subjects in my videos try to make privacy complaints to get the video taken down. This is something that YouTube is pretty hesitant to do, actually. Typically when it involves public content. Like, you know, I've had people who are angry about me covering their public tweets try to do this, and YouTube just ain't having it. And with Johnny Somali, he broadcasts his entire life, so I don't really know what privacy you're violating by covering his streams, because I guess in his mind, if I delete it, then it's no longer public, which is not true. But you can see the desperation with Johnny Somali here. He is really trying to silence any coverage of what he's doing, and he's just lost the plot at this point. He's doing it for the love of the game, okay? There's no money to be made anymore. He is just doing this for attention. He is like a parasite at this point who feeds off of negative attention, and he doesn't really have anything else he can do. And I think at this point, he is stuck in Korea, and I think he knows he's cooked, and now he's just trying to farm as much attention and thrills as he can get, as basically the sun is setting on his time over there. And again, if he does actually go to a Korean prison, that's going to be a world of hurt. Again, he already disrespected a lot of Korean culture, especially with the comfort women statues. But if he does it again, if he goes out and does something to them again, if he gets banned on TikTok like he said, oh boy, he's going to be in for a very rough time. But for now, that's going to do it for this video. That is the update, and I'm sure there'll be more to come with Johnny Somali. And when there is some more news to cover, I will be there. But for now, it's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.